Hello, 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 and welcome to the next episode of the Shane Walsh podcast. Today's episode is one that is the elephant in the room at the minute in relation to should you be dieting before Christmas and the actual truth that nobody is telling you. So, Christmas is coming, and if you're anything like the people that are DMing me, messaging me, the clients that I'm working with, some people are freaking out about Christmas, the Christmas foods, that all or nothing thinking. They think they need to diet right here, right now, and to prepare for the worst. And then the other side of things is thinking, screw it, I'll just enjoy Christmas and fresh start in January. And I'm going to try to give you the most nuanced piece of advice and honest answer I'll ever give about this question. So, should you diet before Christmas? And I know what you're expecting. You're expecting me to say no to extreme diets. All diets are evil. Just enjoy Christmas. Or you're expecting me to say yes, get ahead of the damage. But the answer is a lot more complicated. And the answer is it depends. Because for some people, dieting before Christmas is a good idea. I have clients who are dieting for Christmas and up to Christmas. And then I've got clients who are maintaining for December. And maintaining means that the weight might go up slightly, but they're maintaining so their brain doesn't go into full panic mode because they're in a deficit, and then they're maintaining and bringing up their food that little bit more so that they don't freak out leading up to Christmas. And nor should they be freaking out. Complete food is always going to be there. But this answer, like anything with food and Christmas and weight loss or whatever it may be, the actual is way more complicated because for some people, dieting before Christmas is a great idea, and for other people, it's the worst thing they could do. And the key to knowing this is which one you are. So I'm going to break this down. Who should and who should consider dieting before Christmas and why? Who absolutely should not diet before Christmas and why? If you do diet, the one rule that changes everything, why extreme dieting will make January way harder and not easier for you. And I'm going to tell you a client example of Laura whose approach might surprise you. So we need to talk about who actually might benefit from actually dieting before Christmas. And I've had client calls already this morning, kind of talking about a lot of different things in relation to weight loss and the routine and is life busy, etc. So if you're in a good food, please, good place mentally with food, easier for someone else to say. So if you are looking to consider should you be dying for Christmas, you need to ask yourself, are you in a good place mentally with food? If you have a decent relationship with food, if you don't have a history of binge eating, if restriction won't trigger you, it may be a strategic choice. Keyword there is strategic, not panic driven, not punishment, not damage control, and not from a place of wanting to feel in control. One of the big things that a lot of people can try to do because life is so busy, this year seems to be quieter compared to every other year. But what a lot of people try to do now is when life is feeling a little bit out of control because we've got so many events, the things that get exacerbated on for people is the element of they feel out of control with their body. They feel out of control with food because of abundance. And then it goes into damage control and they feel out of control and they think dieting is going to lead to control. Looking for dieting to get yourself into control with food is not a very good idea. It is literally the opposite of what is going to happen, but it is easier to go for because it is familiar. If you're looking to diet for a specific event or goal, maybe you've got a Christmas party where you want to feel confident in an outfit or a dress or a suit or whatever it may be. Maybe you've got family photos coming up. Maybe you just genuinely feel better before the festivities. That's a valid viewpoint. As long as it's coming from a place of I want to feel good and not I hate myself, I need to fix my body here and now. There is a difference. You need to understand this is short term. If you can commit to say 4 to 8 weeks or 8 to 12 weeks of a focus period, knowing that you'll maintain afterward, not continue dieting through Christmas, then this can work. But if you're thinking, I'll diet now, just keep dieting through Christmas and into January, you need a slap of reality. Stop. That's not a plan. That's a fantasy. And the approach they take with an awful lot of people at the minute who are trying to diet before Christmas is asking, well, how many life events have you got coming up? Is it silly season for you? Is it easier? How much stuff have you got coming up? etc. Now, most people at the minute have 1 to 2 events during a week, which isn't too dissimilar to what most people would have during the year. This year seems a lot quieter for most people. But what can help if someone's going 3, 4, 5 things every single weekend, well, then that's not going to be a greater place from a place to diet because it will be harder. And you may be beating yourself up for not being able to stick to it. You won't be able to stick to it because you're trying to save money and spend money at the same time, and you're fighting two little inner dialogues of you're weak, a useless piece of shit, of I need to restrict right now. The two ideologies do not work together. So why here's why dieting before Christmas can work for the right person. You arrive at Christmas feeling good, not desperate, not feeling out of control, not deprived, not like you need to make up for lost time, but you've already made progress. It should be a few days of celebrations. I know for myself and my family, it's got a little bit different this year, but it's normally 2 days, and then this year probably be about 3 or 4 days where it'll be a little bit different. Not a free for all because I haven't restricted for months, but also it just doesn't appeal to me. There will be those 3 or 4 days. I'll enjoy a little bit more food, and that's it. There's no catch. But if you're going to step on the scales after Christmas and Christmas Day and say to yourself, I got away with it, then that's not coming from a place of positivity because that's a reactive mentality. If you're going to step on the scales and check the damage and say to yourself, I'm a useless piece of shit for doing this, that's not a positive place to be dieting into Christmas. But you need to maintain and go into and transition into maintenance before Christmas. I will come back to that. It's really, really important. So, who should not diet before Christmas? It's a terrible idea if you have a history of binge eating. If restriction triggers binges for you, dieting before Christmas is like lighting a fuse. You'll restrict in November, you'll arrive at Christmas feeling deprived, you'll eat everything in sight, you'll feel terrible in January. This is the old predictable. Do not set yourself up for this. Second one is you're already feeling stressed. You're already feeling overwhelmed with work, family, life in general. Adding a diet is not the correct move. Dieting requires mental bandwidth. As much as we say dieting shouldn't be hard or dieting is hard, it does require mental bandwidth in order to get routine, in order to create a little bit of structure, in order to plan in some of your workouts. If you don't have the mental bandwidth right now, you can create it, but going into a diet, and most people think a diet means misery, then it will add stress to your life. And stressed people don't lose weight well. It's not an ability issue. It's normally from a place of restriction, poor body image, undernourishment, and then there's also the other place of obesity. People will lose sleep, they lose patience, they lose their minds, they react to the scales, but not weight. Third thing is you've done this before and it didn't work. You've tried the diet before Christmas thing multiple times, and it's always ended the same way, binging through Christmas like it's a full-time job. Feeling terrible in January, and why would this time be different? Definition of insanity comes to mind. Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. If this pattern hasn't worked for you, you need to stop repeating it. And I know that's easy for me to say because I've been there. I would try to cut back all the way through in my 20s, cut back all the way through, thinking that dieting all the way in November and December would solve my problems. But then I was finding I was ate 3, 4 times a week, and I was getting reacted to the scales. The body dysmorphia piece was projecting onto the weighing scales. The fourth thing is if you're doing it out of fear, not strategy. If your thought process is, oh God, Christmas is coming, I need to do something. I'm terrified of gaining weight over Christmas. I need to earn the right to enjoy Christmas food. That's fear. That's not a strategy. And fear-based decisions rarely work out. Here's what happened when the wrong person diets before Christmas. They start in early November. I've done this, tick. They're strict, tick. They're being good, tick. They're declining social events because they can't control the food. They arrive at Christmas already exhausted from weeks of restriction, and then because they've become so restricted, they go absolutely full metal jacket on it. They eat everything. Not from willpower, not from discipline, but from a place of being strict and restrictive. They tell themselves, I've already ruined it on December 23rd or even earlier. So they keep going through New Year's Eve, they gain more weight, even if they just maintain in November. And January comes thinking about undoing the damage of making any progress. Progress isn't losing weight as quick as possible before Christmas and then trying to undo the damage after. That's not progress. And there are a lot of Santa shreds and all these kind of different things being sold. That's why I didn't do a female fat loss program this year. I just felt, do you know what? I don't want to do it because it can be, you get the wrong idea. One, could I made a good bit of money for it? Yeah. But I also need to sleep at night. A lot of people have gone and advertised all these programs before Christmas, knowing that they're not going to help you and knowing that there will be people who need it, but there are also people, a lot of people will fall through the cracks. I've seen it before when I have done the female fat loss program in December's that a lot of people will fall through the cracks. Not because of the program and not because of lack of willpower or lack of trying, but the intention is to restrict and go full ham at Christmas. So it's going starvation to abundance, and that's never going to work. So people will tell themselves they've ruined it. They keep going through New Year's. They gain more weight than if they just maintained. And January comes become and doing the damage. This is the cycle I see every year. Most people will gain their weight around Christmas and will struggle to get it off. That's not a sentence to shame people. It's a sentence of what the actual data says. So if you can recognize yourself in this, please listen to me right now. The answer for you is not to diet. The answer is to maintain eating regular meals, eating something before you go out on the drink, getting back into routine the next day. Those three things will help and stand to you better, and you'll find it easier in January. The one rule, if you do diet, set a maintenance date. And this is what I'm working with a lot of my clients at the minute. Now, if you've decided that dieting before Christmas is right for you, there's one rule that changes everything. You must set dates. Let me explain. Most people think I'll diet before Christmas and just see how it goes. No, no. That's how you end up restricting through Christmas, feeling miserable and binging. Here's what to do instead. You diet for 4 to 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks max. You set a specific date where you switch to maintenance. Not kind of maintaining, not dipping your toes in. I'll try to be good. Actual maintenance calories. So here's the timeline. November 1st to December 10th, diet phase is about 6 weeks. January 10th to December 10th to January 5th, maintenance phase of 4 weeks. January 6th onwards, back to fat loss if you want. Why this matters? Gives your brain a mental break from dieting. You arrive at Christmas not feeling deprived. It won't trigger binge responses. Binges get triggered through restriction, not from lack of willpower. You get to enjoy the holidays. It won't undo your progress, and it will set you up for a smooth January sailing. So let me give you some examples, right? For a client that's kind of someone that's, give me the numbers, all right? Let's say you need 2,000 calories to maintain, right? Diet phase of November 1st to November 10th is anywhere between 16 to 1,800 calories per day, okay? Over that 6 weeks, you generally lose about 3 to 4 pounds of fat loss. You feel good, or 4 to 6 pounds, you feel good, make progress, build momentum. And then you go into a maintenance phase of about 2,000 calories per day, or 2,000 to 2,200 calories per day. You eat more, but don't go crazy. Christmas happens, a few days above maintenance, a little bit of water retention, maybe a little bit of 2, 3 pounds water gain, mostly water, not fat, and you enjoyed Christmas without that guilt spiral. Now, those calories I've just mentioned aren't tailored to you, but they are examples. Compare this to maybe the other approach that you've gone for. You diet through November and December at 1,200 calories, arriving at Christmas starving like it's a full-time job. Binge for 2 weeks, gain 7 to 10 pounds, feel terrible, spend January trying to undo damage. See the difference? One approach works with your biology and your brain, the other approach fights against it. The maintenance phase needs to be non negotiable, but it is not sexy. If I sold you a female Maintenance program, it will not sell. But if I sell a female fat loss program, it will sell. But maintaining is always the goal. All of us have lost weight before. So it's not an ability issue. We've done silly things to get to it, but that's what's familiar. That's what's easy. I love when clients are saying to me right now, this does not feel like I am dieting. Everything else I have done has made me feel miserable. This is when I know progress is happening for someone, not the weighing scales or whatever it might be. Dieting and why dieting makes fat loss harder. Extreme dieting before Christmas is backfires every single time. Your body will have this psychological rebound. Extreme restriction creates extreme cravings. The more you restrict, the more you obsess. The more you obsess, the more likely you feel out of control. Dieting does not give control. Tracking calories does not give control. So you arrive at Christmas like a coiled spring and you finally allow yourself to eat and you cannot stop. It's giving you feedback that because of the restriction, it triggered the binge. It triggered the overeating. January is now harder, not from your fault, but more the approach. And people need to learn how to disassociate themselves between the approach and themselves. After extreme dieting, followed by Christmas, you're starting January with hunger all over the place because more food will increase your hunger. You'll have more weight to lose because you've restricted going into it. You won't trust yourself. You'll feel out of control. You'll have lack of willpower and you'll feel like a failure. These are some of the things I hear all the time going into January. January becomes damage control instead of trying to gain progress. I see this with January clients all the time. They come to me mentally, physically, emotionally exhausted. They feel they've been good for weeks before Christmas. They ruined it after Christmas. Now they want to fix it, even though they're not broken. The approach is giving them feedback. And now they want to do is fast. So they repeat the cycle because it's familiar. Because making it about their body image is projecting onto their approach. Extreme restriction in January, white knuckling it through to Valentine's Day, breaking out at Easter. The cycle never ends. So this sentence here, extreme dieting doesn't make Christmas easier. It makes it harder because you're not dealing with Christmas weight. You're dealing with body image pieces. You're dealing with anxiety. You're dealing with stress. You're dealing with feeling like a failure. You're dealing with feeling of lack of control. Moderation before Christmas, maintenance through Christmas. Set a date after Christmas where you 28th, 29th, where you just get back into your regular meals. Slow and steady always beats extreme and chaotic. But extreme and chaotic is shiny. It's shiny. Here's a story. Laura's story, to be exact. So Laura worked with me for 18 months, one to one. And Laura came to me October, maybe 2 years ago. She'd done the extreme pre-dieting thing for about 5 years. Every year, strict in November, ruined it at Christmas, extreme restriction in January, burnt out by March, back where she started by next October. 5 years. Some people will have done this longer. Some people have done it for a lot longer. So when she came to me, she said, I want to diet before Christmas, but I don't want to repeat the pattern. So here's what we did differently. We went to 1800 to 2000 calories a day. We focused on getting her to use a weekly calorie average, like a budget for the week. So it allowed her to find that wiggle room where she could have those main meals. And once she got that for a week or two, what we tried to do then is we tried to work on getting her protein in. So what she found after 2 or 3 weeks, because she was working off that calorie budget, rather than going for 1200 calories, she wasn't restricting. There was no extreme measures, just a manageable deficit, and she was losing weight quite consistently. The result after 5 weeks, she lost 6 pounds. Then what we did between December 8th and January 3rd, we went up to probably about 22 to 2500 calories per day. We enjoyed Christmas without guilt. We didn't track Christmas Eve, Stephen's Day, and the 27th because they were family days for her. A few days above maintenance, but mostly maintaining through December. We didn't weigh for those days. We didn't weigh until January. And we continued just kind of making memories of family, going for walks with our dog and our family. We gained 3 pounds, mostly water, and our digestion slowed down because there was a lot of food volume. Phase three was January 4th onwards. We went back to 1800 to 2000 calories, no damage control, no all or nothing mentality, no extreme measures, just back to what we had been doing. Results 16 months later, maintained our weight loss, didn't yo yo, didn't spend January undoing Christmas, actually built on her progress. And her, to use her words, that maintenance phase saved her. She arrived at Christmas feeling good, not desperate, enjoyed the food without the guilt spiral, and generally felt like progress, not punishment. Her approach worked because we didn't restrict. It took a lot for her to accept that maintenance will help. But we didn't use the scales as the measure of progress. It was, are you making memories with those around you? She didn't kickstart in January. She just went back to the old routine and restarted. So, should you diet before Christmas? Maybe, maybe not. Depends on your history with food, your stress levels, your relationship with restriction, whether you can commit to a maintenance phase. So, if you're someone who has a healthy relationship with food, isn't triggered by restriction, up to wants to manage the maintenance phase, wants to feel good, then yes. If you're someone who struggles with binge eating, overeating, emotional eating, gets triggered by restriction, is already stressed to the absolute max, has repeated this pattern, then I would say it's probably not. The key principles is have a maintenance date, have a set date after Christmas. Enjoy it without guilt. A gentle restart, not a kick up the fucking hole. And remember, extreme dieting before Christmas will always make your life miserable. The people who succeed are the ones who take the moderate, planned, strategic approach. The ones that don't are the ones that need that little bit longer. And that's okay. Because there will be things that I say to clients that I've said from the beginning, but it can take 3, 4, 5, 6 months for something to land. That's the big thing. That's the big thing. That is the big thing. So, and remember, Laura maintained. It was a fresh start in January. She broke that cycle. And now she's 42 pounds down in 18 months. So, hopefully you found this episode useful. I'm hoping that you found it as impactful as it can be and as it should be. And if you want to work with me in January, the Female Fat Loss Program starts on the 12th of January. The early bird price is €99 compared to €149. And in that program, you get 8 weeks of coaching, one-to-one tailored nutritional feedback, nutritional guidance every week, a group of like-minded individuals, education around perimenopause, PCOS, endometriosis, pre and postnatal, etc. You get tailored nutritional guidelines, you get your tailored training, etc. All for €99 for normally €149 for 8 weeks of coaching. So if you're interested, click the link on the show notes. If you have any queries or questions about it, it's amazing to see how many people signed up on Black Friday. So thank you for that already. But if you want any questions or want to book your spot already, please let me know at the €99 offering, and let us know. So thank you so much for listening. I really hope that you've enjoyed today's episode.